gender-based violence remains pervasive in Sri Lankan society. We have several statutes which deal with this, the Prevention of Domestic Violence Act. We have other mechanisms, we have the law enforcement agencies. However, the incidents of domestic violence, gender-based violence, continue to be on the rise, and we continue to be reactive, and we continue to be underfunded, under-resourced. We lack sufficient sensitization programs at the police stations, where, for example, if I'm getting beaten up by my husband, I can't go to the police station expecting a rational answer. I can't take my children with me and say, take me to a safe house. I can't go back to my abuser. And this is the reality of a lot of women. We just don't see it. How urgent is it for us to take action? Speak to us. You've done so much work on this area, Misa.
It is very, very urgent to take action on this. It is again an example of how women's issues get deprioritized in policies and lawmaking. And I think it's been, as I said before, that way for a long time. And that has made the issue much, much worse, right? Day in and day out, I get these cases. Women who call asking for support, legal advice. And if the entire structure is not being supported and resourced, and if there is no real commitment to ensuring that women are helped, even if we have all the laws, it won't make a difference. For example, I know we have a specific law dealing with domestic violence, which is the Prevention of Domestic Violence Act of 2005. It's been 20 years. We haven't really made a dent in being able to address women's domestic violence. Not just women, but largely women. The act is being used, which is a good thing, but very difficult to move authorities to use it. So most people are also filing private plaints in court and using it. There is also so much difficulty that women face to get to the court. Difficulties of just dealing with the police, trying to make a complaint, not being believed, not being understood, being turned away several times before complaint is recorded. Sometimes even from lawyers, not being believed, being asked, is this true? Then when you get to court, the difficulty of placing that material before court, particularly if it's intimate partner violence, if it's sexual violence, it's really hard to talk about. And our courtrooms are not geared for this kind of evidence taking. That is made an opportunity by also opposing counsel sometimes, or the lawyers who use this as an opportunity to traumatize the victim. So we need an entire set of changes. But at least the changes that have been in the works for a long time, since 2017, I've been part of a process which was looking at amendments to the current law, which looked at introducing, updating the law to bring in things like economic abuse, recognizing in the home economic abuse, emotional, verbal, psychological abuse, sexual abuse. We don't have marital rape as an offense in this country, but at least as a domestic violence issue, if we can recognize sexual abuse, stalking which happens, cyber harassment, new ways in which for courts, the judiciary, for lawyers who are assisting victims to understand and recognize domestic violence. So it has been important to even get the law to come to a stage where it can respond. But my real grouse with the system is that it's not enough. Every time we even try to do law reform, the first things to get dropped off were the shelters, the actual resources that have to be allocated for support for victims. The support before you get to court, the support once you get to court, the support in terms of safe spaces which women absolutely need to even initiate and start thinking about a court process. You need to be safe first. You need to know that you have some kind of income, that your economic security is It is only at the very last resort are people moving to a legal solution. So we need to be making systems that are much broader and committing resources to those systems, and it's well past the time.